All right, all right. Great morning, superstars. How is everyone doing out there? Welcome to another fantastic, amazing episode of Social Media Saturdays. This is our first broadcast of 2021, and I'm super excited to have the conversation with my superstars today. So, if you are out there and you are tuning in for the first episode of the year, make sure you just go ahead and drop in the comment section. Taria, I could see you. Taria, I could hear you. And then let me know that you are out there and we are going to get this party bus started. And I'm so excited to have our conversation this morning because we are going to talk about how to create a winning social media strategy for your 2021. Okay. So that's the topic for today, how to create a winning strategy, a winning social media strategy for 2021. Okay. And one of the things that we closed off the year talking about, so I hope that everyone had the opportunity, over the holidays, or even if you did it before the holidays, to sit and think about and envision what do you want to grow into in this upcoming year. Okay. And so that was a question that I was asking, or that I asked at the end of the year. Okay. What are you growing into? What are your goals for your business? And then what are the skill sets that you need to develop in order to get you there? Okay. And so I hope that everyone spent some time at the end of the year, or even before that. I do mine's the last quarter of the year, plan out my goals for the upcoming year. And then as you do that, one of the things that I'd like to ask is, how does social media play a part in that for you? Okay. So how does your social media play a part? And I see that Gwendolyn is out there this morning. Great morning, Gwendolyn. Thank you so much for tuning in to Social Media Saturdays this morning. So you're hoping to have a really exciting conversation, lots of things to take away and, put together for your social media strategy for 2021. Okay. So before I get too excited and I jump the gun, let me just tell you some of the things that we're going to be talking about today on today's broadcast. Okay. So I'm going to be discussing the top 5 social media trends to follow this year in 2021. Okay. So 5 trends that if you have not started to think about these things or pay attention to these things, I'm going to bring awareness to them today. So what you need to be focused on as you move forward with your social media. Second thing that we're going to talk about today is how to evaluate your success. Okay. So as you closed out the year, as you closed out 2020, did you do an evaluation with your social media? And how did you evaluate your success? Like, how did you score your social media success in 2020? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then also I'm going to share what to include in your 2021 social media strategy. So I see that Peg is out there. Great morning, Peg. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us this morning. And she says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, my dear. So before we go ahead and we get started, okay, so if this is the first time that you have ever come across one of our episodes, I'm Taria Hodge, and I'm the host and founder of Social Media Saturdays. And what I do is that I help coaches, I help consultants, and I also help thought leaders by getting their authentic message and vulnerable message into the marketplace. So I like to term it as I help your brand shine online. And when I talk about shining online, I talk about 5 specific things. Okay. So I talk about showing up consistently and powerfully in the heart of service. So how do you use your social media to serve? I also talk about honing in on your ideal client. Do you know who you are called to serve? And then we like to talk about how to increase your influence and your impact in the marketplace. Okay, so how are we inspiring others to action with our message? Then I also like to talk about nurturing and building relationships with your social media. So how do you do that? And then last but certainly not least is how to create that experience around your brand. So when you hear me talk about shine, those are the 5 specific things that I talk about when it comes to your social media and when it comes to shining online. And I see that Audrey is out there this morning. Great morning, Audrey. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining in with us this morning on Social Media Saturdays. So in true Social Media Saturdays fashion, what I'm going to ask everyone to do is take a minute to drop into the comment section where you are tuning in from this morning. Okay, so this is one of the things that I absolutely love. I absolutely love to know where all my superstars are tuning in from. Okay. And so if you are watching, from the Maryland, DC area, okay, so that's where I reside when I'm on the mainland. So if you're watching from there, just go ahead, drop me a comment and let me know, Taria, I'm in the DMV area, and just let me know, that you're there, right? So shout out to all my people in the DMV. If you're watching from across the US, just go ahead, put your city, put your state, and let me know where you are tuning in from this morning. Now, if you are watching, from across the world, just let me know, okay, what country you're tuning in from. And then I can't forget my Caribbean people, so just let me know if you are watching from, one of our island nations. Just go ahead, drop a comment and just let me know where you're tuning in from, okay? And then also, as you let me know where you're tuning in from this morning, I also want you to put into the comment section who you serve in your business. So who do you serve in your business? Go ahead and put that in the comment section. And then I also want to ask you to drop me a comment and let me know how you serve in your business. So who do you serve in your business and how do you serve in your business? So this is something that I ask, on every single broadcast. Why do I do this? Because I absolutely love the virtual networking that happens here on Social Media Saturdays. So we cannot connect with you or know exactly what you do or how we can help support your business if you don't let us know who you serve, who your ideal client is, your divine clients. Okay, so who are your divine clients? And then how do you serve? What is it that you do exactly in your business? So just drop a note and then let us know. And then lastly, but not least, let us know where we can connect with you. So if you have a Facebook business page, this is your opportunity to drop the link into your Facebook business page, into the comment section so we can connect, okay? And so one of the things that I do, I'm just letting y'all know, I really do go back, okay, and check out the pages. I do go back and make the connections, and I also act as a resource where I connect people with each other, okay? So just do me a favor, make sure you put that information in there. And I see that Tracy is out there this morning, and Tracy is saying that she served women over 50, and I would like to serve by encouraging and empowerment. So Tracy, thank you once again for tuning in, first of all, to Social Media Saturdays and letting us know who you serve and how you serve in your business. And I see that Ann Velma is out there this morning. Great morning, Ann Velma. How are you? Thank you for tuning in all the way from New Jersey. Don't forget to drop who you serve in your business, how you serve in your business, and how we can connect with you. So Tracy, if you do have a Facebook business page, make sure you drop the link to your Facebook business page into the comment section, okay? And Tracy is saying that she has just started a TikTok page called It's Now or Never. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so I'll make sure, Tracy, that I head on over to TikTok and I connect with you. And I see that Anne is saying that she serves survivors of domestic violence. Thank you so much, Anne, for sharing that with us this morning. Make sure that you drop the link. I know you, Anne, I know you have a page, and I also know that you have a group as well. So drop where we could connect with you on your page, and we could connect with you in your group as well. Okay. And then I see that Noreen is out there. Great morning, Noreen. And I see that Juliet is out there this morning. Great morning, Juliet. How are you? Thank you so much for tuning in and joining. Okay. And so couple of things before we get rolling into our session today, our episode today, which, as you can see, I'm super excited to have the conversation. I want to start off with a couple of announcements. So if you are just tuning in and I did not get a chance to say Happy New Year to you, I'm going to say Happy New Year to all of my superstars who are tuning in on the broadcast today. And I am wishing everyone love, I'm wishing you peace, and I'm also wishing you prosperity in 2021. Okay, so I could not miss the opportunity to share that with you this morning. And then the second thing that I want to share, big announcement. Okay, so thank you so much for those of you who have had the opportunity to stay connected with us towards the end of 2020. And one of the things that you may have seen, or you may not have seen this, is that we have actually launched a series of webinars. Okay, and I am super excited to let you know that we are getting ready to do our Magnetize and Monetize the Virtual Stage webinar coming up. Okay, and so I'll have more details on how you could join the Magnetize and Monetize the Virtual Stage. Now, this is going to be so important. For you, if you are once again, taking a look at your goals, your business goals, and you're asking yourself, how can social media or how can online play a huge part in me accomplishing my goals? And so the Magnetize and Monetize the Virtual Stage webinar are for those of you who desire, okay, to implement a strategy into your business that would allow you to do things more virtually, and not only just do virtual things, right, but to monetize when you do them. So do you have a webinar, right, that you're monetizing off of? Are you hosting a live event, right, that you hope to monetize off of? So Magnetize and Monetize the Virtual Stage. I will share the details with you of that coming up later on in the broadcast. Okay. All right. So what we are talking about today is how to create a winning social media strategy for your 2021. And so I'd like to start off the new year start off this episode by talking about one of the things that, I do every year at the end of the year. And I do this for myself, and I also do this for my clients as well. And so one of the things that I do is to create a social media strategic plan. Okay, so how many of you out there, okay, have a strategic plan for your social media? How many of you do you even know what a strategic plan for your social media is? So are you out there just doing social and you're just kind of winging it on social, right? And then you want to know, hey, the winging it part does not work for me. What can I do to get more strategic when it comes to my social media, and how social media actually lines up with the things that I want to do in my business, right? And so I spent some time, over the last couple of weeks, actually putting together plans for myself and actually plans for my clients. And one of the things that I want to share with everyone, if you haven't started doing this in your business, right, it's such an important thing to do, because one of the things that it allows you to do is get really clear, and it really helps you get really, really, really focused. Okay. And so it's starting out with creating, or having that vision for your life and for your business. Right. And so I hope that everyone had the opportunity with the new year to kind of go back and revisit their vision. Okay. And that's something that I do like every year. Take a moment to really get present to my vision. Okay. So what do I want? Out of life, right? Life vision first. And then what do I want? What's the vision for my business? So do you have a vision for your business? And then as you take a look at these things, what are the goals? Okay. Or what are the objectives that need to be accomplished that would allow you, okay, to move towards that vision and move towards the vision for your life and also the vision for your business. Okay. And so doing this exercise gave me the opportunity to once again reconnect with my vision. And a lot of times when I reconnect with the vision, I find that the vision just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and the vision includes more people, more superstars, more people that I am called to serve. Okay. And it always gives me an opportunity to think on how am I up leveling my service, on how I can serve more superstars. Okay. So that was the big lesson or the big share that I wanted to bring to the table today. So if you have not taken the time, let me just ask a question. How many of you, have taken the time already for the year to sit down and do that, right? Take a minute to revisit your vision. Okay. And I know a lot of people, they have done vision board parties. I've seen a lot of invitations for the vision board parties. Did you, participate in a vision board party, a vision exercise? Did you do one on your own? Go ahead and drop me a comment and then let me know, yes, I revisited, my vision. And yes, I took a look at where I am heading, the things that I am growing into in 2021. And Taj is out there. Great morning, Taj. Thank you so much for jumping on and joining. And I love that Gwendolyn says that she's revising, regrouping, resetting for the new year, new age, from brick and mortar to community building with her virtual arts ministry. I love it. I love it. I love it. And Tracy is saying that she had the opportunity to redo her vision board. So isn't it awesome, Tracy, to be able to have your vision, right? And then go back to your vision board or how you have your vision written. I know I have my vision written down and I try to place it like everywhere so I could see it. And I even revisit it, on a consistent basis. I'm growing into making sure that I review it every day, but I'm not there yet. Sometimes I forget, right? But I try to revisit as often as I can. So isn't it amazing when you take a look at your vision and then you see areas of where you are upgrading to or areas where your vision is growing. Okay. And so thank you for sharing that. And Audrey is saying, I'm still in the planning stage for 2021. That's great, Audrey. Now is the perfect time to be in the planning stage of 2021 because we are just starting, off the new year. So that's awesome. And then someone is out there saying that I don't have a social media strategy as yet. Okay. So yes, thank you so much for sharing that. So I will be sharing. That's Noreen. So thank you, Noreen. So I will be sharing some things with you as you take a look at your social media strategy, some of the things that you need to include in your strategy. Okay. And so what we're going to talk a little bit about now is the top 5 trends. Okay. The top 5 trends, to follow, top 5 trends that you should be following. All right. This year, when it comes to your social media, the top 5 trends that you should be following when it comes to your social media. Okay, top 5 trends. So, what are the 5 things that you should be paying attention to? So, one of the things that I'm going to challenge everyone to pay attention to in 2021 is how to develop an organic social media relationship funnel. Okay, so an organic social media relationship funnel. Okay, and I know that that's a mouthful, but exactly what does that mean? Okay, so I'm just going to break it down. It's really simple. Okay, so as you go through your social media planning, as you get really strategic this year with your social media, how are you willing to invest in your relationships on social? Okay, so how are you connecting with the people that you encounter on social? So whether it's your audience, okay, whether it's your clients that you have already, whether it's your influencers, your people that are connecting with you, how are you taking a look at building relationships? So do you have a strategic plan that would allow you to build relationships in your business through your social media. Okay. And so that's the first thing. And the reason why we are talking about this is because one of the things that I want everyone to start to pay attention to is what are your messaging? What's your messaging? So what's your key messaging that you are putting out into the marketplace? And as you take a look at your messaging, is your messaging so clear? And is it so succinct that it is attracting people? And you're going to hear me talking about that a whole lot this year. Okay. So one of the greatest shifts that has occurred for me coming through the last year of 2020 is this kind of shift how I look at marketing. Okay. And so with marketing, one of the things that we've been taught, I know I've been taught this, right, is that we always have to go out there and find our ideal clients, right? So we have to find our clients. So one of the greatest shifts that I started to embrace, okay, is not the finding of the clients, but the attracting of the clients. So what is the messaging? What's the content that I am putting out into the marketplace that when my ideal clients, come across my content, whether it's a video, whether it's a post, whether it's a message, a webinar that I'm doing, that they are able to see themselves in the messaging, and then I am drawing those ideal and those perfect clients to me. And one of the things that I realized when I started to think that way and focus that way, then it's a different type of energy. So let me just say that, and I want you guys to say this, like this should be one of your affirmations coming through this year, right? I am attracting my ideal and my divine clients, right? I am attracting my ideal and my divine clients. It's such a totally different energy than having to go out there and find your ideal client. Okay. So how many of you out there could agree with that? So that was one of the biggest things, right? So start to think about how you are developing your organic social media, and then you are developing relationships through your social media. Okay, so that's the first thing that that I want everyone to start to pay attention to as far as trends go for social media. Okay. The second thing that I want everyone, if you have not started to do this, right, this goes right in alignment with the first thing that we talked about, right, is to practice what I call people first social media. People first social media. And so I know that there's a lot of things that we could do out there, a lot of gadgets, all of that stuff that goes on social media. But are you being intentional about focusing on your people in social media? Okay, so one of the things that we have learned coming through the past few years with social media, especially with Facebook, is how Facebook rates content. Okay, and so if you are putting out content out there and your content is not engaging content, you're not really focusing on your people, focusing on your audience, and you're not getting engagement, one of the things that Facebook will do, and then also other social platforms, it's not just Facebook, right? So we hear this thing about the algorithm, exactly what the algorithm is. Well, the algorithm, especially on Facebook, has shifted for us to start to practice what I call people first social media. Okay. And so one of the things is, how are you boosting engagement on your social media? So are you putting out engaging content? And when you do things on social media, how are you calling your audience to engage with you on social media? Okay. So in addition to your paid ad strategy, okay, you should have a strategy for organic social media. And that's one of the things that, I had the opportunity this week to be in conversation around. I had the opportunity to speak to a young lady. And as we started to discuss her social media, I realized that she was a lot heavy, on the paid ads. Okay. And then it made me start to question, well, in addition to having your paid ad strategy, what's your organic strategy? Okay, so once again, what's the messaging, what's the content, that you're putting out there, that you are allowing relationships to be formed organically. All right, so people first social media is going to be one of those things that we have to focus on coming through 2021. All right. Now, the third thing that we're going to talk about, great morning, Barbara. I see you, love. Thank you so much for jumping in and joining. The third thing that we're going to talk about diversification. Now, diversification, this is going to be a huge one. So I know within the last month, there has been an emergence of a new social media platform that has taken off like wildfire. And that social platform is Clubhouse, right? So, how many of you out there are on Clubhouse? And if you thought that TikTok was taking social media by storm, in my opinion, I think Clubhouse just came and just blew TikTok like out of the water. Right. And so it becomes, very imperative now for us to start to think about how are we diversing, that's the word. How are we being diverse in our reach on on social media? Okay, so do we have a strategy for diversification on social media? Okay, and notice Noreen says yes. Clubhouse, right? Yeah. So notice the word that I'm using along with diversification. I'm using the word strategy. Okay, so even though Clubhouse has taken the social media world by storm, one of the things that, I'm very clear of before I enter into a social platform, do I have a clear strategy to make sure that I am optimizing and maximizing on that platform? Okay. And so while I have had the opportunity, to listen to some of the comments, that the way how people are experiencing Clubhouse, some people are having really wonderful, great times, and they're generating clients and they're making business, they're having business, they're generating revenue, which is awesome sauce. And then on the other hand, I'm hearing people talking about how it could be such a huge time suck for them. And so my thing for you is, before you enter onto any social media platform, do you have a clear strategy on how you are going to position yourself, how you're going to position your business on that platform? Okay. And so the fourth thing that I am going to draw your attention to pay attention to this year in social media, and I think 2020 has opened this up for more people, is how are you utilizing more live streaming as part of your social media strategy? Okay. And so for myself, I've been doing live streaming such as this. I do webinars, all of that stuff. So it's been a part of my strategy. Okay. And I know for some of my superstars, 2020 kind of threw you guys in the water, right? You were left no choice to develop a live streaming strategy for your business. And I am here to say, I think that trend is going to continue as well. I don't know for my superstars out there, but I have actually, had like the best year ever in 2021. Okay, because I started to focus more on what I can do online. And for me, it just became like a really efficient thing. Right. So more than just the show, what other parts, of my business, can I incorporate, that live video, aspect, so I started to do a lot more things, live streaming and live videos, and it turned out to be awesome. Awesome. Okay. So I think that trend is also going to continue into 2021. Okay. And then the fifth thing, and I'm going to touch on this just a little bit. I wouldn't get too I will not get too deep into this today. Okay. But one of the things that I think that 2020 has done for all of us and is going to continue into 2021 and years to come is how do we get present to issues that are happening, around us, okay? Political issues, our environment issues, social issues, okay? And being able to use our platform to affect change. Now, I'm just going to be totally transparent. So, I was that person. Okay, when I started on social media, I set some rules for myself and I said there are certain things that I'm not going to discuss on social media. I'm not going to talk about religion. I'm not going to talk about politics, right? But I think the climate of 2021 of 2020 has forced all of us to get really present with some of the things that are happening in the political arena and also in the social arena, okay? And it kind of leaves our audience, asking where do we stand. So how many of you have had experiences like that where definitely you felt that you had to, come out on social media, and kind of state, you know, or address certain issues and use your platform as a way to speak out against social issues or some issues, or use your platforms to support other issues. Okay, so how many of you, have experienced that in 2020? And so that's one of the things that I think is going to continue into 2021 as well. And so, with that being said, what is a strategy that you have or you're going to develop if you don't have one? What's your strategy that you're going to develop around that? And the reason why I am talking about that one is because what I find is if you don't have a strategic plan to address social issues, and when I say it might not be even where you're coming out and you're starting or igniting the conversation on social, but you may have people who are connected with you on social and they're bringing stuff, to your communities, or they're bringing stuff to your platforms. Do you have a strategy that would allow you to effectively and efficiently deal with that conversation? So have you given it any thought? Okay. And it's so important, to be able to have a strategy for that, because a lot of times what I see is companies who don't have a strategy, for it, then what happens is when they're confronted or they're faced with issues like that, then nobody in the company know what to do. Then they find themselves saying stuff, and then they got to go back, retract it. They got to apologize for a lot of things. And we don't want that to be the case with us. Okay. So make sure that you have a strategy for that. Okay. And so I'm going to cover, once again, I'm going to go back and recap the 5 trends to follow in social media. First is to develop an organic social media relationship funnel. Okay. So organically, how are you connecting with your audience on social media? And then do you have a strategic plan to move them through your process? Okay. Your process of conversion. So what's your strategy? What's your plan for that? Okay. Also, practicing people first, social media. Okay. So are you now developing a more organic, intentional social media strategy? Okay. So what are some of the things that you're going to do to boost your organic reach on social media? The third thing to pay attention to is diversification. Okay, so how are you going to diversify your social media? And do you have a strategy for the networks, the new networks that you are going to enter into? Okay, and then also, fourth thing is how to incorporate more live streaming into your social media plan? Okay. And do you have a strategy for that? And then also, how are you addressing issues through your social? Okay. So I'm hoping that that makes sense for everyone out there. And I love that Noreen is saying, I definitely came out on social media to share my opinions about different political and religious issues, right? Yeah, I think, Noreen, the climate of 2020, has, you pushed us all in that way. And like I said, for me, when I started off on social media, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to play it safe in my business, right? I'm being transparent. I'm going to play it safe. So certain issues or certain things I'm not going to talk about on social media. So I'll stay away from the religious things, and then I'll stay away from the political things, because I don't want to say the wrong thing and I don't want to offend anybody, all the stuff that you tell yourself. But I think with the events and what we've all seen here in this past year alone, everything from the pandemic to our social issues like Black Lives Matter, from our political stuff going on with the presidency and the test of our democracy, right? Then, yeah, it really does allow us to start to think about how are we going to use our platform for good. So that's how I like to think about it, right? Like, we're out there, we're doing all of this work, to build an audience, right? But how are we actually leveraging our platforms? How are we using our voice in the marketplace for good and to address those issues? Okay. All right. So thank you guys so much for your comments on that one. And so the next thing that we're going to talk about is how to evaluate your success. So have you step back and have you take a look at your success in 2020? Right? So how many of you, have done that? How many of you have done, I'm trying to get my hand to show, how many of you have done a recap for the year? Okay. You spent some time at the end of the year and you said, you know what, let me evaluate some things. Okay. So how many of you have done that? And then when you sat and take a look at your evaluation of your social media in 2020, right? How did you rate your success? So, were you on target with all of your social media goals? So, how many of you out there will say, yes, Taria, I was on target, or I met my social media goals in 2021? How many of you said it was great, but no, I did not achieve my goals? And then how many of you out there would say, well, Terry, I didn't set any goals for my social media in 2020, right? And so that's one of the things. So a couple of things that I want to draw attention to in what you could do to go back and take a look at how you rank your success as far as social media in 2020. So the first is to take a look at your ongoing analytics. Okay. So when I say ongoing analytics, these are the things that you are tracking over time. Okay. So have you gone back and take a look at your Facebook business page, right? How did your following grow on your Facebook business page in 2020? Okay. So did you pick up more followers or did you lose followers? If you manage a community, how did your community grow in 2020? Okay. So how many new members did you gain in your community? Okay. So what are the ongoing things that you are tracking? Okay. As far as your social media. And then also, what are your focus areas? Okay. So did you launch any, specific campaigns in 2020? And then how did those campaigns measure up? So did you have a goal? Okay. And then how did you rate your success with your campaigns? Okay. And the difference with the campaigns, these are things that have a clear beginning or end. So maybe you launched, a program. I consider that as a campaign. And then as you launch your program, how did you measure your success? Okay. So how did your reach increase? How many people did you increase with your following? Okay, how many leads did you generate as a result, of that campaign? How did your community grow as a result of that campaign? How much revenue, right, did you generate as a result of that campaign? So these are things that we all need to be focusing on when it comes to evaluating our success. Okay. And I see that Audrey is saying that the pandemic has caused me to address the need for stress related issues. Audrey, isn't that so true? I think for all of us, that has been like a big one, right? So, how did we come through? 2020. What are some of the things that we've learned in 2020 to manage and deal with stress? Right. And then what are some of the things that we use to share with our audience? Okay. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Audrey. And then I see that Gwendolyn is saying that the line is thin between personal and business input output regarding current events and dealing with diverse responses, haters, right? So Gwendolyn, I love that you put that out there, that the line is so thin. And so, one of the things that I know I definitely pay attention to is how, people, kind of, not think about responses or think about how they're going to position into the marketplace when it comes, to social issues, right? And they just get out there and they just kind of like wing it, or have those emotional moments. And then when they have those emotional moments, right? Oftentimes what happens, they say things, maybe not that they didn't mean to say it, but they meant to say it because they said it, right? But it causes offense. But can you be a little bit more strategic, right, in getting your point across and the things that you want to convey? So great feedback or comment, Gwendolyn. Thank you for that. Okay. And so when it comes to evaluating the success of your social media, there's a few things that I want each of us, to start to think about. And if you're out there, please someone put these in the comments. Okay. So the first thing that you want to be able to measure when it comes to your social media success is awareness. Okay. So are you tracking awareness around your brand? So how many of you know what brand awareness is? Okay. And what are the metrics that you're using to track brand awareness? Okay. So how are you tracking your volume? How are you tracking your reach? How are you tracking exposure and amplification? Right. And so when it comes to brand awareness, the question that you want to ask yourself is, how far is my message spreading? Okay. So as you sit here, if you haven't done it already, like go back and take a look at some of your metrics for 2020, and track. Okay. Your brand awareness. So track your volume, track your reach, your exposures, amplification. How far did your message spread in 2020? And then what that will do is give you an opportunity to kind of forecast where you want to go to in 2021. Okay, so that's the first thing, the first measurement that you should be tracking. The second thing that I'm going to ask you guys to pay attention to go back and look, okay, is engagement on your content, right? So, how are you tracking engagement? Okay, so are you tracking your likes? Are you tracking your comments? Are you tracking your shares? And even how you are responding to people on your social media. Okay. So these are things that we should be paying attention to when it comes to, our engagement. Okay. So how are people liking our comments, right? And or liking our posts or liking our content. Now that's a great measurement to take a look at, because once you put content out there and people are liking your content, people are sharing your content, it lets you know that you are on target in providing the type of information that your audience wants. And this is a huge thing. Engagement is really a big thing, because I cannot tell you guys how many times I get, the questions, or I get the concerns that I'm putting content out there and no one is engaging on my content. I'm putting my videos, I'm doing videos out there, and I can't get people to engage on my videos. Okay. So once again, how are you measuring the engagement? What are some of the things that you need to do to tighten up your engagement, right? So are you developing more content that your audience knows what they want to learn more about, what they care about? So are you putting content out there like that? And then how are you tracking how they're receiving the content? Okay. Then also, third metric to follow is your traffic. So, how are you using social media to drive traffic to outside sources? Okay, so how are you using your social media to drive traffic to your website or to your landing pages? Okay, and then are you tracking that? So, are you tracking how many shares on your links, how many clicks to your website? Are you tracking your conversion? So, how many new leads did you generate this year? Okay, you have to start to think about these things. So, did you go back and take a look at your CRM and say, oh, wow, I built my email list. So I increased my email list by X amount of leads or X amount of subscribers, okay, in 2020. And then what's going to be the goal for 2021? So these are the things that I want you guys to start to pay attention to, because I say it all the time. If you're not tracking these things, okay, and you don't know how your social media is working, then social media is going to become a big time suck for you, and you're going to get frustrated and you're not going to want to do it, okay? But when you could see the effects of your social media, then it kind of shifts your energy and you get excited, okay, about your social. Okay, so how are you driving traffic, and then are you tracking your conversion? So what does that look like for you? What did it look like for you in 2020, and then what are you growing into in 2021? Okay, all right. So also, second thing for you to track is how did you connect or build new relationships with brand advocates and influencers. Okay, so how many of you, this was a huge one in 2020? Okay, so did you connect with new people that could help you get your message out there, that you could partner with, lock arms with, to help you move your business and your brand forward? Okay, so how many of you are tracking that? Are you tracking it? Okay. So, what new relationships did you create in 2020 that you could definitely say moved your business forward? So, who did you partner with? Who did you connect with? Who did you lock arms with in 2020? So, and going forward in 2021, right? What is your strategy to do more of that? And then last but not least, are you tracking your volume? Okay. And when I say tracking your volume, all I'm talking about is what's the share of your brand's voice into the marketplace. Okay. So are you going back and measuring up your conversations in the marketplace to some of your competitors? Okay. Are you measuring how often your competitors, are showing up, into the marketplace, and they're sharing, their thoughts, their ideas, their products, their services out there? Okay. And then are you looking at your own business, not in a competitive way, but in a way for you to say, this is what I need to grow to. This is what I need to aspire to. Okay. Or this is how I could up level my game in 2021. Okay. And so those are things that you should be tracking as well. So Anne is saying that it pushes us to use Zoom for some things that help us reach new supporters. Yes, so definitely, Anne, and I'm hoping that you're talking about tracking your influencers, right? So who did you partner with, that would allow you, to once again get your message out there, put your brand first and foremost into the marketplace, okay? All right, so I see that someone is, oh, that's Tracy. Okay, thank you, Tracy. I see that you are getting ready to jump off. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us today. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, and we are now getting ready to talk a little bit about what to include in your 2021 strategy. Okay, so what are some of the things that you are going to include in your strategy moving forward for 2021? Okay, so what are some of the things that we are going to include in our strategy for 2021? Oh, I think I got the wrong slide. So hold on one second. What to include in our 2021 strategy? All right, yep, I think I got it. Woohoo! Alrighty. Okay, so what are some of the things that we should be focusing on? Okay, so the first thing that I really want to share and talk about when it comes to developing your social media strategy for 2021 and going forward is what is the context of your strategy? Okay, so before you develop your strategy, you should have context around your strategy. And when I talk about strategy, okay, I like to talk about the why and the what. Okay, this is one of the things that I talk about all the time when it comes to social media. One of the biggest disconnects that I see with social media is that people or business owners, my superstars, will take the time to plan out their business goals. Okay, so they know the things that they want to accomplish in their business, and they will do a great job of writing out their business goals. And then when it comes to their social media kind of sits, somewhere, out here, and there's kind of a disconnect between your business goals and your social media. Okay, and so what how I like to term it is that your social media, okay, should be one of the engines or one of the mechanisms that will allow you to power or get to your business goals. Okay, so does that make sense? So as you take a look at your business goals and the things that you want to accomplish in your business, right, start to think about how does social media play, a role in that. So how are you going to leverage the power of social media that would allow you to achieve your business goals? Okay, and then once you start to think about that, then you're able, to develop your strategy. Okay, and then as you start to think about your strategy, then you start to think about, okay, what are all the things that I need? So what are some of the resources, okay, that I need to acquire, in order for me to have a successful social media strategy? So if you're moving into a strategy like we talked about where you're incorporating more live streaming, okay, so what are your resources? Are you investing in equipment? Right? So what are some of the new things that you're going to do? Okay. Are you investing, in getting your message onto more platforms? So what are some of the tools that you need, in order to do that? Okay. So as you start to plan your strategy, start to think about those things. Okay. The second thing that I want you to start to think about is your audience. Okay, and we talk about this all the time, right? So, who is your ideal client? Okay, so who are you divinely appointed to serve? Who are you called to serve? So, are you taking the time to clearly define who your ideal clients are? And do you know not only their pain points, but you know the transformation, okay, that they want to receive? Okay, so do you know where they are now and where they desire to be? Okay, and get really clear on your ideal audience. Do you know where your ideal clients, do you know where they are on social media? Okay, so are they on Facebook, are they on TikTok, are they on Instagram, are they on Clubhouse? Right, so all of these things, right, you need to start to think about, like, who are they? Okay, where are they? And how can I best serve them on those platforms? Okay, so who are they? Where are they? And how can I best serve them on that, on those platforms, those platforms that you choose to enter? Okay, and then we're going to talk a little bit, or I want you to start to think about the execution. So how are you going to get it done? So do you have like a framework of the how you're going to get it done? So do you have your social media plan? So we talked about, the strategy. Do you have a plan in place that would allow you to make that happen? Okay, so do you have a plan for your content? Do you know what content that you're going to produce on, say, if you are on Facebook, right? So do you have a plan for that content? If you are entering, into TikTok, and it's mostly videos, right? Do you have a plan that would allow you to produce video content on a regular and consistent basis, right? Are you entering into Instagram? And one of the things that I am learning, I'm dedicated to learning this year, is how to use Instagram Reels, right? So is this fun new things? I've been kind of watching, how Instagram Reels, have been taking off. Okay. And so what is it, what do I need to do to be in order to maximize platforms like Instagram, right? So there's a lot more things to do, on Instagram. So do you have a plan? Do you have a strategy, right? A strategy first, and do you have a plan to execute on these social platforms? Okay. All right, and I see that Nisi is out there this morning. Great morning, Nisi. And Nisi says, most definitely, it's time to go global with the message. And Nisi, I couldn't agree with you more. Okay, because this is the opportunity that's available to us, right? With the emergence, of social, we've been saying it. Social, gives us the opportunity to kind of bring everyone in the world closer to us. Okay, so how are we increasing our brands, not just in our local marketplace or national marketplace, but how are we expanding our brand globally? And so if you have been looking at your social media as this thing, like, oh, is this just this little small thing? I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should, fully explore it. You need to, right? Because, there are millions of people that you could reach, you could touch, but you won't be able to effectively do so unless you have the strategic plan in order to do so. So thank you so much, Nisi, for that. Okay. And so, yeah, so these are some of the things that I want, all of you, to start to think about. We are now beginning the beginning of the year. So if you have not, okay, sat down, taking the time to write out, your strategy for social media, and you have your plans, you have your goals, you have your strategy, then you have your action plan on how you're going to accomplish these things, then you need to. Now, for those of you out there who have listened to this broadcast, you got excited, you love the information that you heard, and you're saying, Taria, it sounds great, but I don't know what to do, and you need help with it. Okay, I'm going to offer the opportunity to have a call with me. Okay, that would help you get clear and help you get focused on your social media strategy. Okay, and so if you would like, to book a time with me, all right, to talk about your social media strategy, I have the link going across the banner to the bottom. Okay, so it'll be a great opportunity if you know this is something that you need to do. Okay, and you would love to be in conversation around it. Go ahead and schedule a time to speak with me. Okay, and I do believe you could get to my link by going to bit.ly bit.ly/SMS discovery. Okay, so bit.ly/SMS discovery. When I'm done, I'm going to drop it into the comment section. So, are there any other questions, out there for me before we get ready to wrap up our broadcast today? Okay, so if you have any questions in regards to how to create a winning strategy for your social media in 2021, go ahead and drop me a comment and then let me know. Okay, and then while I am waiting for the comments or the questions to come in, I should say, one of the things that I did say that I was going to share and I was going to talk a little bit more about is our magnetize and monetize the virtual stage webinar. Okay, so for those of you who missed us in November, as we did the magnetize and monetize the virtual stage webinar, we are doing it again, and we're doing it 3 times in the month of January. Okay, so our first webinar kicks off on January the 13th, then we have one January the 18th, and then one on the 26th. Okay, so you'll have 3 opportunities to join us. And so once again, if you know that you are, in the space where, 2020 has made you reevaluate some things in your business. Okay, so maybe you are that speaker, you are that coach, you are that consultant that, lockdown happened and you found yourself, not being able to participate or even host your live events. Okay, and then you want to know what you need to do to be able to command the virtual stage. Okay, and let me just tell you, I've been speaking to so many people who expressed, over the past year, what shift it is, being able to do things in person versus doing things on a camera. Right? It's a little bit different. Okay, and if you want to know how you could do more of that, then you definitely want to be able to join us for magnetize and monetize the virtual stage. Okay, if you are out there and you want to know what it takes for you to craft your authentic and vulnerable message and get your authentic and vulnerable message into the marketplace, that that's where you are growing into in 2021, you definitely want to join us on the webinar. Okay, so those are some of the things that we'll be sharing. And when I talk about we, I'm talking about myself, and I'm also talking about Suzanne Hart. Okay, and so I've had the opportunity to work with her throughout 2019, 2020. And oh my gosh, right, the difference it has made, the increase, just being able to be present, being clear on getting focus on the messaging into the marketplace. Okay, so if you know that that's where you want to grow into, how to increase your communication and also increase your engagement, on virtual stages, whether it's social media, whether it's Zoom platforms, whatever it is, then make sure that you join us for our magnetize and monetize the virtual stage. Okay. All right. So if I don't think I see any questions out there. I see that Peg is saying, thank you for all the terrific tidbits and nuggets. Can't wait for my discovery call with you. Thank you so much, Peg. And I'm looking forward to speaking with you as well. Okay, so thank you for taking the time to schedule your call. And I see that Marty is out there. Oh my gosh, Marty, it's been a minute. How are you, my dear? Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me today on this episode of Social Media Saturdays. Okay, and so if that is it, if there are no more questions, no more comments, then I am going to go ahead and wish everyone a wonderful and safe rest of the day. And I will see you back here next Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, and so once again, if you are new to Social Media Saturdays, this is your first broadcast, podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. If you are not a member of our Social Media Saturdays community, make sure you head on over to Facebook and just type in Social Media Saturdays, helping you serve, share, and shine. That's the name of our community. Knock on the door, and I will go ahead and let you in. If you want to be notified of as to when we are doing more of our Social Media Saturdays live broadcast, make sure you connect with us on our Facebook business page. Okay. And so that's Social Media Saturdays on Facebook, or you can go to facebook.com/ watch SMS live. At the end of this video, make sure that you go ahead and you click on get notifications, and that will notify you every time we go live. If you are on Instagram, you could follow us on Instagram at Watch SMS Live. We are on Twitter at Watch SMS Live. And then you could also connect with me directly on LinkedIn, okay, at Taria Hodge. And so with that being said, I am going to wish everyone a great day and take care until next time.